I want to welcome everyone here this evening on behalf of Ontario Arts Council, and I'm presently the president of Sudbury Arts Council, and we're actually sponsoring this little session. This session is about Culture Days, and we have Nazanin from Ontario Arts Council, and we also have Gulad Hassan from Ontario Arts Council. Nazanin is actually going to tell you how to become involved in Culture Days, what you can actually do to promote your event, how you can involve other people in your event. It's absolutely free to be involved, which is a real bonus for art groups and individual artists. And it's going to get national media. And I mean, a lot of individual artists and art groups don't have money to do that type of thing. So I think this is a fantastic idea. So she will actually tell you what you could do, what you might want to think about doing, how you can register, and she is going to take questions after she gives her little blurb.
Thank you. Thanks, Barbara. I'd like to start off by thanking John and Barbara for organizing this. It's really great to be here in Sudbury. It's my first time here, so I was really excited to come. So I'm just going to start off by giving a little introduction about Culture Days, and afterwards, or during even, if you have questions, feel free to interrupt. And also afterwards, I'd like to open it up to discussion, to really talk about how we can get the community here in Sudbury to get excited about Culture Days and to really get involved this year. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Culture Days, it's a volunteer-driven movement that is happening all across Canada. It started last year. So the main objective is to increase awareness and participation and accessibility to the arts and culture. So because this is the second year where we're really trying to develop the awareness, we actually had a lot of success last year. In Ontario alone, we had over 900 activities registered, which is more than half of all the activities that were registered in Canada. So it was really impressive. We had really good feedback. There was a survey done afterwards, and we discovered that a third of Canadians were aware of Culture Days. 3/4 had participated and were satisfied with their experience. Sorry, 3/4 of which participated were satisfied with their experience. About 90% of organizers were happy with the success of their event, and 86% said they planned on participating again in 2011. So we had fairly good feedback. So basically, what Culture Days is about is really showing the behind the scenes of what goes into creating art, to really develop that appreciation of arts and culture. So it's not so much about putting on a big show or spectacle. It's really about showing the process. So there's a variety of activities possible for Culture Days. What's important, there's 3 components that are very important in order to be eligible for Culture Days. First, you have to have your activity registered on the Culture Days weekend, which is happening September 30th until October 2nd. And the activity has to be free to the public, and it has to have a participatory component. So there's a variety of activities possible. You can have a hands-on activity, so it can be a workshop, like a music workshop, a dance workshop, painting. The possibilities are endless. It can be a behind-the-scenes experience, so you can have a musician or dance company, for example, open their doors during a rehearsal so that you can see what it's like when they're preparing for a show, so that the audience can really appreciate what goes into putting on a show. It can be a tour. We had a lot of tours last year in Sudbury. We had some gallery tours. And it can be a self-guided tour as well. It can be a discussion between the public and the artist discussing their work. And my favorite category is the collaborative project. So it can be a community getting together to work on something creative that is collaborative. For example, in Huron County, they had a project called Communitrees. And so they had the challenge of decorating all the trees in their town with art, and we saw the pictures afterwards, and it was incredible. It was just really great. So there's so many different possibilities in terms of what you can do. There really is no limit. We also invite cultural organizations, like heritage organizations, to get involved. We had a variety of museums that participated last year. For example, there was a veterans museum that had past war veterans come in and talk about their experience. And this year we have a lot of libraries getting involved. What's great about the libraries is that they have the space to host artists who don't have a space to present their work or to run their activity, and often the libraries do. So for example, this year in Toronto, we actually have 45 branches participating in Culture Days. Each branch will be hosting artists. So there's a lot that can be done there. We've had a lot of libraries that have done like a human library, where instead of checking out a book, you check out a person, and it's pretty great. Well, they don't check them outside of the library, but you get to have a one-on-one with someone, and you can ask them anything you want. So those are the main categories for the types of activities you can offer. And to register, it's really simple. You go to the culturedays.ca website. On that site, you create an account, and so once you've created an account, you can register your activity. And you can register more than one activity. We suggest that if you do register more than one, that you register them individually. That way, when they show up on our website, you will see the different locations pinpointed on the map, and if someone's planning their schedule, they can say, oh, well, I want to go to this one and that one, and it could all be the same organization, but in different places. So it just helps with figuring out what people want to do. And one thing that's new this year that's really great is we have My Culture Days, where you can actually create your own itinerary. So you select which activities you want to do, and then it'll put it all into one schedule for you that you can print out. So that's new this year. Another thing that's new this year is we have an Ontario landing page on our website, so you can link to more local information, and that's at on.culturedays.ca. And you can also find us on Twitter. I've just opened a Twitter account, and it's available in English and in French. And so if you want up-to-date information on the latest things that are going on with Culture Days, it's a great way to stay in touch. And also we have a newsletter that you can subscribe to for updates. They're sent out every few weeks. The greatest resource, though, is our website, because there's a lot of tools available. We have a blog page where we often post tips and ideas, and we share stories on past participants, so you can it can help you brainstorm ideas for what you're planning. And we also, once you register for the activity, you will have access to a marketing toolkit and a PR toolkit. It should be available fairly soon. We don't have the exact date yet, but it will be sometime in May. So you only have access to that once you've registered. And what's included in that is all of our press material. So you have templates for press releases, you have our logo templates, you have templates for posters and postcards. So all the tools are there. They're very easy to use. You just enter your own info so you can tailor it to whatever event you're planning. So a question that often comes up is about funding. I know a lot of artists come to us and they're wondering whether there's funding available for Culture Days. Because Culture Days isn't actually an organization itself, it's an alliance. We're not actually producing, we're not acting as producers for Culture Days, because it's an alliance between public funding, we have corporate sponsors, and we have a huge number of volunteers. And that's really what is making this all work. We have the support of the media as well. This year is CBC's 75th anniversary, and so they're taking us on as one of their big projects. So we will have national coverage with CBC, as well as the Globe and Mail and St. Joseph's Media. And we will also be advertising locally when it gets closer to the date.